All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Next installment we're going to be covering here real quickly is kind of how to set up your Google Drive and some basic naming conventions that may or may not work for you. Again, this is just what I'm recommending. If there's something else or you already have a system in place that works for you, use it. The other thing that I thought about during between the last video and setting up for this video is I'm going to add another layer to the challenge. Can we do this in one take? So in other words, if I mess up or misspeak or choke up, you know what, to just kind of model for you, it's okay to slip up. It's okay to make mistakes. It happens. And when you're actually going to be rolling out your synchronous instruction to your kiddos, you're not going to be able to be like, oh, I need to erase that and redo it again. You just have to recognize that's a mistake. I got to roll with it. So let's see if we can do this in one take. So naming conventions. Right now, and this is kind of a poor example, I need to go back in and clean up my Google Drive. It is a little bit of a nightmare on dumping in a whole bunch of different stuff that we've been working on the last week. But normally, and what I would recommend for teachers is I would have a folder within your Gmail account, within your Google Drive that's labeled to everything that you teach. So if I'm a self-contained teacher, I'm going to have 4 main folders: ELAR, Math, Science, and Social Studies. Then once I click into that folder, I'm going to have a subfolder that I would name for each year. So, be 1920, 2021. So obviously I'd be working in the 2021 subfolder in there. Within that subfolder, then I would organize to where I have my different units. So unit 1, 2, 3, 4, and then have my different resources there. These type of naming and file setups just make it a little bit easier for you later on. Within the course of the unit or the course of the year, or even maybe next year when you're planning, hey, I want to go back. What were the different resources I had? I want to reshare those back out with my team, or I want to tweak it, or I realize, it's time that I need to do a spiral review because my kids, we tanked on this one standard. What were the resources I had? Because I need to make sure I don't use those again. And it's going to make it just a little bit easier to find them and locate them. Again, if you have a different system that works for you, great, use it. These are just merely suggestions, figuring that we're starting at ground zero and you don't have a Google Drive that's cluttered and chaotic like what I already have, but you're starting off with something nice, new, clean, and simple. So just to kind of give you a physical layout of what it should look like or typed out, I'm going to start here, plus also modeling how to access Google Docs if you're not familiar with it. And also that's another part of the component. This is my wife's old laptop. It's about 5 years old. Our licensing for all the Microsoft Office suite stuff is gone. I'm cheap. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to spend money on it. So I'm actually going to be using Google Docs and all the Google Suite stuff for this. So again, don't think that I'm going to be working on something on Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, or Slide, or Excel, and then dumping it over here. Everything's going to be through Google Drive. That way it's cross-platform. So again, naming conventions, what I would recommend is first and foremost that your files should be labeled by content. By the way, I'm a horrible speller, so we'll be doing a lot of right clicks and coming back to edit it. Beyond that, again, if you're self-contained, then that means that you're going to have an ELAR folder, a math folder, science, and social studies. Then within each one of these, I would have a subfolder where it's going to be set up by your years, for example. And so then you're going to click on each one of these folders. And then within that, I would be adding what my units would be. 1, 2, etc. And then, then putting my respective items in each one of those, and then you can share those out as need be. Don't forget to name your documents. Again, Google Cross Sheets, Docs, I think just about everything, honestly. Whatever your top line is, if you click up here, it automatically copies it over. So if that works for you, great. If not, you can retype whatever it is that you need to have up here. All right. And so that's just kind of a quick brief overview on how I would set up your folders just to make it a little bit easier as you go back through and try to find stuff for a later video, for a later lesson, for spiral review, or for planning when it comes to next year, just kind of forward thinking. So again, hope this helps. As usual, don't subscribe, and comment and rant down below. If